Hello friends, before we get into this vlog, I just wanted to kind of quickly explain that these are kind of two vlogs like pieced together. I started vlogging the week of the 12th and I only vlogged for like 4 days and then I stopped. And now I'm going to be vlogging kind of this weekend starting on like the 22nd, 23rd of April. So I'm just going to be piecing together these two things. I really wanted to be vlogging when the Shadow and Bone show was released. And so I already started a vlog, so I thought I would just kind of add it onto the end of that vlog. I had to take a bit of a break for some personal things going on, but things seem to be doing okay. You know, we're having to take things kind of day by day, but things seem to be going okay. And I really missed YouTube and filming, so I thought I would vlog the release of Shadow and Bone and kind of just tack it on to the end of the vlog I already started. So yeah, there were a few things that I mentioned that I was planning on vlogging last week, but obviously that didn't happen, so I'm sorry about that, but I thought, you know, these two pieces of this vlog could go together and it would still be hopefully enjoyable to watch. I also wanted to quickly mention that yes, my channel name did change again, but hopefully, fingers crossed, this one is here to stay. So I was Lisa Marie, also was Lisa Marie Reads, but now I am With Love Lisa, and I just really enjoy this channel name. I think it's very me. The handful of people that I talked to about it before I changed it said it was very me, so that's very reassuring, and I hope you guys like it. I'll probably talk about my channel name change, you know, later on in this video, but I just wanted to quickly acknowledge it. But now I will just let you enjoy the vlog. Hello friends, it's Lisa and welcome to a new weekly vlog. So I've decided I want to try and do weekly vlogs again. I was really good about doing them like last year and then I just kind of got sick of vlogging. But I did a lot of vlogs last year, a lot of weekly vlogs, but I kind of miss doing that. So I'm gonna try and do weekly vlogs again. Not necessarily like weekly reading vlogs, like I'm sure I'll keep you updated on what I'm reading and everything, but just necessarily like week in my life vlogs, just kind of whatever I feel like vlogging and talking to you guys about. So it is, what is today? I don't even know what today is. It is Monday, April 12th. That is the day. So I just got done filming my bookshelf reorganization video, so I'm probably just gonna sit down and relax. I need to eat some lunch because it's almost 2 o'clock and I've just been doing that video all day, so I think I'm going to do that. Also, if you are wondering what I'm currently reading, I started Legendborn by Tracy Deonn like a few days ago, I think. I'm like a little over 100 pages in. I just got to part 2 yesterday and I'm feeling really motivated to read, but it's one of those things where I'm excited to read, but like the actual act of like picking up the book and reading it, I'm having a hard time with, but like I want to read, if that makes sense. I don't know if anyone else has that issue, so I'm hoping that I will actually get a lot of reading done this week. I would like to finish Legendborn this week, and I'd also like to start the audiobook for The Swallows by Lisa Lutz. This is the Winers Book Club pick for, what month are we in? April. For April, and I would like to read that and be able to participate in their live show, so I'm gonna try and maybe start the audiobook for that as well. But yeah, I just wanted to say hello and start this new weekly vlog. We'll see what I get up to this week. We do have a BTS thing happening this weekend. They're doing like similar to something they did last year. They're playing like old DVDs and old concert DVDs on Saturday, and lucky me being on the opposite time zone as them, it starts at 2 a.m. my time. Am I gonna stay up and watch it? Yes. Am I going to mess up my sleep schedule? Also yes. Do I care? No. So that'll be fun this Saturday, but other than that, I just wanted to say hello, start the vlog, and I'm gonna go and eat some lunch. Alright friends, so it is now Tuesday and I have spent the morning editing my bookshelf reorganization video. So that's actually now complete and I've made the thumbnail and everything, so I think that that's all set. All I'm gonna have to do is caption it once the automated captions load, so that's good. I also have an update for Legendborn. So Jess was doing some sprints last night, so I got some reading done. I'm now up to chapter 13. Taylor Swift, hello, and I'm on page 151, so I'm making some progress. It's really quick to read. I just haven't like taken the time to actually like sit down and read, and I think I was kind of saying this when I introed the vlog yesterday, that I'm in one of those weird moods where I really want to read, but like actually picking up a book and reading it, like I'm having a hard time doing that, but like I really want to read. Like it's just weird, like I'm in the mindset of like I want to read, but I don't actually want to read, if that makes any sense. I think I'm just like, I'm finding so many books that I want to read, and I have so many books on my shelves I want to read and things like that. So I just like, I'm in the reading mood. It's just actually finding the motivation to pick up the books and read them is where I'm struggling. But with Legendborn, I am liking it so far. I'm not like loving it quite yet, but I'm excited to see where it goes. I feel like a lot of the story is still being set up right now, and I am a little confused on just how like the magic system and like how like the people and like the rankings of people and how it all works. I'm a little confused by that, but I think I'm gonna be able to pick up on it and kind of just like understand as I keep reading. So I'm probably going to try and read a little bit more today. But I also randomly just got the motivation to clean my room, and I feel like I should take advantage of that while I have that feeling. So I think I might try and pick up my room. My desk is a mess once again. I feel like that's the place that gets messiest first. So yeah, I think I'm going to spend the day cleaning my room. I hope it doesn't take too long, but I definitely need to clean it a little bit, vacuum, and do all of that stuff. So I'm gonna go and do that, and I will check back in when I have something more exciting to say that doesn't have to do with cleaning my room. Alright friends, hello. So I've spent the morning making this cart that you were just seeing. A lot of people like in the bookish community use those types of carts for like TBR carts, and I've decided to use it for like stationery and like art supplies. I actually hauled that cart in a stationery haul. I think I posted that in like June of last year, and I've just never set it up. I don't know why. I think it was one of those things where I thought I'd make a video out of it, so then I just kept putting it off, and I never have. I'm not going to, so I just did it. And I did, while I was building it, contemplate using it as a TBR cart, but I don't need it for that. I do need it for like art supplies and stuff, so that's what I did. Let me show you kind of how I organized it for now. So on the bottom, I just put some like extra like cardstock and like other papers and stuff like that that I use when like journaling and like for layering and stuff. I also put my like sketchbook under there. And then in this one, I put like my painting supplies, and it's definitely not being used to its fullest potential, but that is just what I did for now. And then up here, I have my washi tape holder organizer thing, which is almost full already, which is concerning. Some envelopes from when I was doing like pen pals and stuff. I don't really do that anymore, but I have them. It's always good to have envelopes. And then some stamps and like stamp pads and stuff. So that's definitely like not at all how it's going to be or how I want it to be organized. I need to like continue going through my desk and going through everything and get rid of anything I don't want and figure out the best way to organize all of my stuff, because I have a lot of stationery and a lot of art supplies, and it's a bit chaotic. So I definitely need to go through and figure out like the best way to organize everything, and then that cart will like carry over everything that I want to put over there. It's definitely not what I want it to look like and what I want to use it for, but everything like at the moment that was just kind of scattered around and randomly like on my floor and in my room is in that cart, so at least it's like somewhat organized. It's organized chaos at this point. But yeah, I feel like it's gonna be a little bit before I like am really happy with how I've organized like my stationery and everything, but definitely I'm going to be working on that over the next little bit. I think I am going to take a break though for now, because it's time for me to have lunch, and I'm very hungry, so I need to do that. Also, something very exciting came in the mail yesterday. Maybe you recognize the stars. Hello, here she is, Fearless Taylor's version. Something on it. I'm super excited that I have this because my original Fearless CD grew legs and disappeared. I cannot find it, and it makes me very sad. So I'm very excited to have this. I actually clearly I have not opened it and looked through it because the plastic thing is still on it. Also, I have so many of these star things that come in her packages from Folklore and Evermore and everything. So I definitely need to do a craft with those. I've seen people take the signed Folklore CDs that people got that I have. Thank you, Franny. But I've seen people take the CD and the booklet out and put it in one of those CD frames and put the confetti and stuff around it. So maybe I'll do that. But here she is. All right, let's look through the booklet. Am I gonna get my feelings hurt? Probably. Oh, already. First picture. Also, I'm shaking because I'm hungry, so excuse that. Oh my god, look at these pictures. Oh my goodness, I'm gonna cry. Oh, all the pictures for the best day are with her family. That's so cute. Wow, excellent. I can't wait to play this all the time. I love Fearless so much, so this is great. Add it to the collection of all of the CDs I don't need. All right, it's been a little bit. I had some lunch. I just wanted to pop back in and actually talk about the books that I'm reading. So I'm still reading Legendborn. I am up to chapter 16, which is page 182. So I probably will be reading more of that today, and I'm still liking it. I'm still a little confused with the magic system and the world and everything. I don't know if that's just because I don't really read King Arthur retellings. I don't know much about that legend. I know the general gist, I feel but I don't know it that well. So I don't know if that's why I'm not completely understanding the world and the system and how everything kind of works, but I am enjoying it. It is interesting, and I definitely there's definitely a bit of a mystery as to how our main character's mom might be involved in this, so I'm definitely interested to keep reading about that and see what happens. But I also started listening to the audiobook for The Swallows by Lisa Lutz, and this is the April pick for the Winers Book Club. And I didn't get very far into it. I think I only got maybe a half hour into it. I'm 7% of the way through. I read 45 minutes. So I'm not that far, but it is really interesting so far. I feel we're following kind of a bigger cast of characters, and what's interesting is that there's a whole cast for the voices for the different characters, so the audiobook has been really cool to listen to so far, but I've only listened to 45 minutes, so it's kind of just starting to be set up, so I don't really know that much of the plot and what's going on. But so far it seems really interesting. The characters seem very intriguing, so I'm definitely going to continue listening to that as well. I started listening to it while I was playing Animal Crossing yesterday, so that was a good combination of things. I probably will do that again today. But yeah, I just wanted to give a bit of a reading update. I'm gonna maybe try and continue cleaning up my room and organizing things, but I might just stare at it and get overwhelmed and then not do anything. That's normally what happens every time I try and declutter my room. So it is now Thursday. It's super cloudy, and I think it might rain later. I actually should check and see, but it's just the perfect cozy weather to curl up with a book and read, get an ASMR room on, so I think that's what I'm gonna do. Oh yeah, it says it might rain at 2, and maybe later on tonight. Oh, it's gonna be raining all day tomorrow. But next week it looks like it's gonna be sunny and nice out, so that'll also be good. I really want the nicer weather, but I also do love a cozy rainy day, especially when I want to get a lot of reading done, so that is what I'm going to do. Okay, we've entered part 2 of this vlog. It is now the 22nd of April, and I really just wanted to vlog the weekend that the Shadow and Bone show came out, so I wanted to pick up my vlog camera, and I already explained what's going on in this vlog at the beginning of this, so you don't need to hear it again. But yeah, I obviously had some things going on in my personal life, which is why there's kind of been a week-long break in between these 2 sections of the vlogs, but like I said earlier, things seem to be going okay. Again, kind of taking things day by day, but I really missed YouTube and posting, and it makes me so happy, you know, posting to YouTube and filming and everything. So I figured it would be something fun for me to get back into and enjoy while, you know, things seem to be a bit confusing right now. So yeah, I really missed filming. It was like a week that I wasn't posting to YouTube and I'm like, what was I doing? Like there was nothing for me to do. But a little reading update, I did manage to finish Legendborn and I gave that 4 stars. I really liked it. I thought it was really fun. My thing about being like confused on kind of like the magic system and the ranking of like the Legendborn and all of that stuff, like that still confused me throughout the whole book. I feel like I never really understood quite what was going on and like the roles everyone had and everything, but like it was still enjoyable to read and was still really fun, and it was a fun world to get invested in. So I definitely enjoyed it, and it will definitely be picking up the sequel whenever that is released. And then I started reading another book, but I only read the first chapter. I started reading Rule of Wolves by Leigh Bardugo. I figured why not have a very, you know, Grishaverse week. Shadow and Bone comes out tomorrow, so I figured I would start this, but like I said, I only read the first chapter, so I'm on page 14, so I haven't really been doing the most reading lately. Obviously, there's been a lot of distractions and a lot of other things going on, but I definitely would like to make some progress in this weekend, but also like the Shadow and Bone show is coming out, so that'll be priority number 1. Yeah, I think Netflix stuff comes out at like 3 a.m. my time, so that's a very inconvenient time for it to start, but I'll probably wake up. People will probably have completed the show already, but I will be starting it tomorrow as soon as I can. But yeah, I'm really excited for the show. I feel like because I enjoy the Grishaverse, obviously I'm reading all the books, so like I clearly enjoy it. I think because I enjoy the world, but I'm not like super obsessed with it, I'm just really excited to see what they do. The original trilogy is not my favorite. I think I gave all the books like 3.5 stars, so like they're fine, but I don't love them. So I'm excited to see kind of what they take from that and what they change. I think there's potential for it to be really good. I'm also really interested to see like how the Six of Crows characters and everything are going to be like put into this show. I know it's like a prequel, and I think they're going to be like trying to capture Alina or something, but I'm just really interested to see their characters and how they're introduced. I am a little concerned for the Six of Crows stands, because if that show messes up those characters at all, people are going to be so mad. I feel like that's the part of the show where people are going to be really mad if they mess it up, but I don't know. I feel like I'm just excited to go into it and see what they do. I'm not like hoping that they keep like page by page, word for word, exactly the way that everything is. I'm excited to see what they change. I hope they change things. So I'm excited. I'm excited to see what happens. I know they've made some changes that aren't so great. There's been a lot of questionable things going on with that show and some of the decisions and just people involved, but I'm still hopeful it'll be okay. But yeah, like I said, that comes out tomorrow at 3 a.m. so I'm not gonna wait up and watch it, but I will be starting it as soon as I can tomorrow, and I'm very excited. But I just wanted to kind of start the second half of this vlog. I'm going to go and I think work on my May journal with me. I've kind of just been slowly making my way through that and filming it when I can and when I want to, because I'm still trying to like ease myself back into filming while also like mentally not being like fully committed to filming. There was, you know, a lot of stuff going on, like I said, so I wasn't like in the mood for a while, but I'm excited to continue setting up my May journal spreads. I'm gonna go and do that and film that, and I'm sure I'll check in with you guys once that is done. It is officially Shadow and Bone Day. I'm so excited. I think I'm about to get cozy and put on the first episode and probably watch the whole thing today. But I'm also hoping that the show helps motivate me to pick up Rule of Wolves, because I've still only read a chapter and I definitely need to make some progress in this. It's like I want to read it, but I'm just like not in the reading mood anymore. I think like once the show is over, like once I've completed watching it, I'm gonna be sad that it's over and I'm gonna want to be like back with the characters and want more content. So this might be the move to read after I finish the show. We'll see. I am a bit sad though, because no one directly spoiled me for what happens in this book. I just managed, like my one brain cell worked really hard and managed to piece together what character dies in this book, and I'm sad about it, so I don't really want to read it. Again, no one surprisingly directly spoiled me for this. I'm surprised Twitter has managed to, you know, keep things under wrap. It was on Twitter that I saw tweets, but it wasn't, no one directly said anything. I just managed to use the brain, the good old brain up in here, to figure it out, and now I'm sad. But I really do want to read it, so I'm hoping after the show ends and I finish it, I'll pick this back up. But yeah, I'm going to, I think, put the show on and start watching it. I did watch the 10-minute preview yesterday. My brain cell was just working extra hard yesterday because there was like a live stream thing with the cast and Lee Bardugo and everything, and I didn't know that that was happening. I just happened to go onto YouTube and it got like recommended on my homepage, and when I clicked on it, the 10-minute preview had like just started. So my mind, I have the mind of a mastermind. But the show, just by the 10-minute preview, looked really good. I have some predictions on what's gonna happen with me. Like, I think I'm gonna like Mal and Alina by the end of this. I already like them from the preview that we saw, so things are gonna be changing around here of my opinions on these characters, but I'm excited. I'm just really excited to see what they do. I'm excited to see the Crows and what they're gonna be up to in the show, because obviously it's a prequel to Six of Crows, so I'm just really excited to see everything. And also my prediction that people were gonna be done with the show by the time I woke up this morning, I think was true. People had already, like, were almost finished or had finished it. So I want to start it so I can be involved in the conversations. Enough babbling. I'm gonna go and watch it. I'm gonna try and talk to you guys kind of after each episode, but it's very possible that I'll just get really into it and forget to like vlog and update and stuff. But I'll try my best to record my thoughts as we go through the show. But yeah, I'm gonna put on the first episode and I'm so excited. King.
What information do you have for me tonight?
Queen. I love her. I'm gonna do this every time she comes on the screen.
She isn't like you. No one is.
Everyone stand up for the national anthem.
You're going to steal something that doesn't specify what.
Alright, I have finished episode 1. A little disappointed we only saw Ben Bard's feet and his backside the whole episode, but that's okay. But so far, so good. The Shadow and Bone storyline is very similar to the book so far, but I think it's interesting what they're doing with the Six of Crows characters. Not only like their storyline and how they're going to be trying to find and take Alina, but it's also going to add like a level of uncertainty with the stories. Obviously, I've read the book, so like I know kind of what happens, but with the introduction of Six of Crows and those characters, there's going to be a level of unknowing of what's going to happen. So far, so good. I am enjoying it. I'm, only 1 episode in, but so far, so good. So I finished episode 1. Now it's time to start episode 2, and I hope we see Ben Barnes' face in this one. I think we will. There he is. Suddenly I'm a Darkling stan. That's definitely a joke, but also. Alright, I finished episode 2. No thoughts, just Jesper. Also, all the parallels with like the different shots of Mal and Alina laying next to each other, it's just hurting my feelings. I love them. Who would have thought? Depending on how this continues to go, Mal, perhaps? We stan? I don't know. To be honest, I never really like hated Mal. He annoyed me like a few times, but I never like really hated him. So I feel like there's potential. Also Alina. I felt very like indifferent towards her. I thought she was kind of annoying, but I'm liking her in the show, so this is very exciting. I feel like the Darkling looks very sketchy in this show, which is good. But also Ben Barnes, we love to see it. I love that man. My camera died and cut me off, but what I was saying was I'm glad, though, that I'm invested in both storylines. I thought that there was going to be a chance that I was more interested in one of the storylines versus the other. I thought I would have been more interested in the Crows, and I've been like sitting there just like waiting to get back to them, but I'm actually enjoying both, so that's good. But now I'm gonna go and get into episode 3, and then I'll probably take a break and have some lunch, and then we'll jump right back into it. But so far, I am really enjoying it. I feel like this is such a good adaptation so far. Probably one of the better book to TV show adaptations, so that's good.
It's just as well.
I don't know why this is funny to me. Pretty sure Lee Bardugo is in this scene. Where's she at? Where's she at? Are we gonna be able to see her? I think she's in that clump of people. Hello? There she is. Ah! Oh my god. Why is that making me emotional? Okay, gotta go. All right, I just finished episode 3, so I'm gonna make some lunch and then just get right back into it. But the part where they were crossing the fold and the conductor told Jesper to hold the goat to calm down, excellent. Also, same. The goat was so cute. Also, we saw Nina and Matthias, their introductions. I don't really care about Matthias that much, but Nina was very exciting. So I'm excited to see their story as well. I'm having a great time. I'm genuinely really enjoying it so far, and I feel like this is one of those shows where I feel like I can recommend it to people that don't care about the books. So yeah, I'm having a great time so far. It's so good, but now I need to go and make my lunch. So I just finished episode 5, and I'm not gonna lie to y'all. I feel like I'm a bit more invested in the Shadow and Bone and those characters and like that storyline than the Six of Crows one. I don't know if that's just because Shadow and Bone is based off of the book, whereas they had to like make up the prequel for Six of Crows, so it's like there's not as much thought, I guess, put into that storyline, because obviously the Shadow and Bone storyline is going off of the book. I'm still enjoying the Crows storyline, like I'm not like miserable when we're seeing them, obviously, like I'm still invested, I'm still enjoying it, but I'm really enjoying the Shadow and Bone storyline, and I also all of a sudden am just so obsessed with Mal and Alina. I never really like was against them like as besties and like as a potential couple in the books, but like I also really didn't like Lena and the Darkling either, and I still don't. But all of a sudden I'm a Melina stan. Who would have thunk? They're honestly so cute, and I feel like they're making this show. Like, I love it. That's not what I expected to happen at all. So yeah, maybe Shadow and Bone does deserve some rights. This makes me want to reread the original trilogy, and I don't know if that's setting me up for failure because I'm loving this so much, and then I'm gonna go to the trilogy and not love it as much, but I honestly would like to revisit it and see if I feel differently. So maybe I will do that at some point. Maybe I'll do like the audiobooks or something, but yeah. Suddenly, I love Mal and Alina, and I love them together, and I am not loving, well, I'm liking the Six of Crows plotline. I'm just not, like, enjoying it as much as the Shadow and Bone one, I think, at this point. But I'm still super interested to see where it goes, because obviously we don't know what happens with that, because it isn't a part of the books. So I'm still excited to see what happens with that, but yeah, what a plot twist. Important update. David just showed up for the first time. I've been waiting. I love them. Wow. Oh. Wow. Best part of this whole show. 10 out of 10. Not the Darkling and Alina kissing. Not that. I knew it was coming. And yet... I don't know why that's so funny to me. I had to go back and rewatch that like 50 times. So I just ended episode 5, and Alina got back in the back of the carriage that the crows were gonna use as like their escape. So she's literally in their carriage, which is funny because in the book she escapes in a carriage that are like the entertainers' carriages, and it's funny because the crows were like pretending to be the entertainers, so like it's kind of accurate. But now I feel like there's gonna be like a direct crossover between the two kind of characters and storylines, so I think that this is going to get pretty interesting. Alright, ignore the red face. There may have been some alcohol consumed. But I finished episode 6 earlier tonight, like a couple hours ago. I took a break to hang out with my family and eat some dinner, but now I'm going to get right back into it, and I probably will just watch the final few episodes just back to back without updating, and then obviously I will tell you guys my final thoughts once I've completed the show. But yeah, I'm kind of standing by my original thought that the Shadow and Bone portion of the show, more so than like the Crows story, I'm enjoying a little bit more, and I think it's because the Crows storyline is kind of made up for the show, where I think once we get into, if we get more seasons and we get into the actual Six of Crows plotline and story, that might change and I might enjoy that more, but so far I feel like I'm enjoying the actual like stuff that's coming from the books more. Not to say that I'm not enjoying seeing the crows, of course I am. I'm loving so many moments with them, and so many moments between Kaz and Inej, and just Inej in general, and Jesper, and oh my god, the goat, it's everything. So I am liking a lot of the things with the crows. I just feel like the actual plot and stuff, I'm a bit more invested in like the Shadow and Bone story and characters, and I stand by it. I'm becoming a Mal stan. Who would have thought? Not me. Okay, time to turn my TV on and get back into it. Alright, it is now Saturday. I thought I would kind of give some final thoughts on Shadow and Bone because I did finish it last night. For some reason I thought that there were 9 episodes, and I don't know why, because I one, googled it before the show even released, but 2, I also looked when it was out on Netflix to see how many episodes there were. So for some reason I thought there were 9, but there were 8. But I did go into the final episode knowing it was the final episode, so that was good. I would have been so upset and so thrown off if I went into the last episode thinking there was one more. But yeah, overall, I'm really happy with it. I thought they did a really good job. Obviously, like, I'm gonna get into some of the bigger criticisms in a minute, but overall, I think they did a really good job. I think a lot of the actors on the show did a really good job of portraying the characters, and I don't know, I really did enjoy it. We've been jaded so many times by adaptations before, and I genuinely feel like we were due for a good one. And this was so good. I think that they really captured the vibe of the books and the characters so well, and it was just so well done, I think. And something I wanted to talk about is kind of throughout the whole time watching the show, I was saying like, I'm feeling more invested in this storyline versus this one and blah blah blah, but I feel like now that I've finished and I've seen the whole thing, I can say that I think I was just equally invested in the entire thing. I think it really came together really nicely, seeing the Crow's storyline and the Shadow and Bone, you know, those characters, Alina, Mal, the Darkling, all of those people, seeing those two stories come together. I think by the end of it, I think they did such a good job of connecting the two. You know, there were moments where it was like, it's a little too perfect that these characters would be like connected, but also it makes sense. Like, they couldn't just have these two storylines and not have these characters come together. But I think they did it in a really good way where it wasn't like too cheesy and too over the top. Like, it actually felt like that could have been what happened in Shadow and Bone. Like, it could have been those characters. So yeah, I think the reason I was saying like I was more interested in Alina's story was because the Crows are technically a part of Alina's story. It's not really about them as individuals and like the Six of Crows plot quite yet. They were a part of Alina's story and this first season, following her and everything. So I think it made sense that I was more invested in the Shadow and Bone plotline because the Crows were invested in that storyline. Like, it wasn't two separate things. I don't know if that makes any sense, but I was feeling bad because I wasn't as invested in the Crows, but I think it was just because I was invested in them, but they were a part of Alina's story, so it made sense. I was more invested in Alina's story. I think I'm making sense, but probably not. But I'm super interested to see, like, the Crows in maybe future seasons, seeing their actual story, seeing the Six of Crows plot come in, because a couple of things. One, I think Kaz, the vibes were a little off for me with him. I don't think it had anything really to do with the actor. I just don't think, I think it's because we weren't seeing like Six of Crows / book Kaz. We were seeing pre-Kaz to all of that. So maybe that's why he felt different, and maybe that was on purpose. But it didn't feel the same. There were moments where I was like, oh, that's the Kaz we know and love. But there were a couple moments where I was like, this isn't quite the same. But also that could just be because it's pre-Six of Crows. So, you know, that might not even necessarily be a criticism. That might be intentional. But also another thing I wanted to say was Nina and Matthias, their storyline. If I hadn't read the books, that whole thing would have seemed so random. I mean, they kind of connected it to Nina because they were like trying to get her to go across the fold with them. But then we're just like following her and her storyline with Matthias, and it does seem a bit random when you don't know like the story. I'm interested to see what people think about Nina and Matthias if they haven't read the books but watched the show, because that did seem a bit random. That's like the one thing I'm excited to see that kind of come together later on in hopefully future seasons. Obviously it didn't seem random to me because I've read the books, but if you haven't read the books, it probably does seem random. But I do think that they got Nina and Matthias, like their plot, their story, and just them as characters done, like it was just done so well. I feel like the actors who played Matthias and Nina really got them like down, like as individuals, but also like together, like their relationship and their banter and everything. I loved seeing that. That felt like I was actually watching Nina and Matthias, which does kind of lead me into my next thing, which is like some of the criticisms. Obviously, people have had some issues with the casting with Jesper and Nina for, you know, since they've been cast. And then also like a couple of other things where, you know, they added racism between the characters, like between Zoya and Alina and everything, and just like there were other things as well. And obviously people are rightfully upset about those things. So I'm editing this video right now, and I just wanted to clarify what I was trying to say here, because I feel like I didn't make a whole lot of sense. But Basically, like, they added, you know, these racist remarks between certain characters and towards Alina, and I think people are rightfully upset by that, and it feels a bit unnecessary. You know, the cast in the books it's pretty white, so it's great that they added some diversity to the cast of characters that we're seeing, but they didn't have to add necessarily the racism and the racist remarks towards these characters. Like, they could have just existed without that. But also, like, I was trying to say, like, it's not really my place to kind of speak on if that's okay or not, or, you know, how different people feel, because obviously it's not about me. So I will have some Twitter threads linked below in case you want to read some stuff about what kind of was happening with the show. But obviously I wanted to mention it because I was talking about how great of an adaptation this show was, but obviously there are problems and there are things that people have issues with. So I just wanted to kind of bring that to your attention, but now I'll just let you get back into the video. It's just not my place to say, but obviously, like, that is a thing that was added to the show, and I know it's been difficult for people to watch, so I don't think, you know, I don't want to just like pretend that it was this wonderful adaptation with zero problems, because that's not the reality. And I think it's okay to enjoy things, but like, to completely turn a blind eye to problems that either you or other people have isn't okay either. It's okay to discuss and acknowledge the problems with things, even if you still enjoy them. So yeah, I'm not trying to speak over anyone. I just want to mention it because that is an issue that people have and have brought up with some of the things with the show, so I just wanted to acknowledge it and not just pretend like I'm over here like obsessed over it and loving it and not acknowledging those issues as well. But overall, I am pretty pleased with it. I think it really captured the books really well. It made me like characters that I didn't think I was gonna like. I think because we're not just in Alina's head and we're seeing people from like our own perspective and from their perspective, not just from Alina's, I think that added to it a lot. And I really enjoyed it. I can't believe I'm saying this, but like, I love Mal and Alina and I love them together. I was team Alina in the books. Like, I know there's, you know, there's the whole Darkling and Alina versus Mal and Alina debate. I was very much like team Alina. I think it would have been really cool if she was just flying solo. I still think she's a very strong character on her own in the show, but I also do like her with Mal. And I really love them together. So that makes me happy. Like, not to expose myself, but look at my lock screen. I don't know who I'm becoming. But yeah, overall, I'm really happy with it. I thought it was really good, and I can't wait to see what other people think. Not only people who are, you know, reading the books and loving these books and everything, but people who haven't. So yeah, if you did watch the show, I would love to know all of your thoughts. Please feel free to leave a very long comment talking about all your thoughts. I'd love to read about everything people think. And if you're someone who's sick of people talking about the show, that's too bad, because I'm gonna continue to talk about it. So yeah, those were my thoughts. I already want to rewatch it. And I think me watching it made me really excited to pick up Rule of Wolves. I haven't read anything still, but I'm more excited to pick it up because I just want to be in that world with those characters. So I'm hoping that watching the show did actually motivate me. I think it did, but we'll see. But other than that, I've been doing laundry today. I've also been spending the last like couple of hours trying to figure out how Notion works and how to set up my own Notion, because I think that that's something that would be really, really helpful when it comes to like organizing all of my things that I want to do for YouTube and stuff. That's what I've been doing, and I'm gonna get back to it. I'm gonna also go and do some more laundry. It's a thrilling day over here. Alright, so I'm actually going to end this vlog here. Really quickly, I will just say that I did manage to read some of Rule of Wolves yesterday. Not much, but I am up to page 43, which is the beginning of chapter 4. So I have read a little bit. I'm hoping to make some good progress with this in the next coming week. I also just finished listening to the audiobook for The Swallows by Lisa Lutz, and I gave it 4 stars. I really liked it. I thought there were a lot of really great messages. It was a bit like out there and a bit like, I don't know if it would necessarily be believable, but maybe it is. I don't know. But there were a few things I was like, okay, that's a stretch. But it was very like interesting and entertaining, so it was like, it made up for the fact that it might not be the most realistic, but it definitely had a lot of good messages, and I liked a lot of the characters as well. There also were a lot of characters that we were in the perspective of, and it just kind of felt like there were some things that weren't necessarily important for the overall plot, but overall, I did really enjoy it. But yeah, I think I'm going to end this vlog here. So thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.